Well, is James Gunn really trashing previous Batman projects? And if he is, should we even care? Let's take a couple minutes to talk about the recent story about some old Facebook posts, what James Gunn supposedly said, if they're true, and why they really might not matter at all either way. Well, over the course of the last couple of days, there has been a ton of discourse surrounding James Gunn and what he has supposedly said about some previous Batman incarnations. There was a series of posts going around that showed James Gunn, coming down pretty heavy on the previous takes on Batman, specifically the Tim Burton Batman, Michael Keaton's voice, and even the Jack Nicholson version of the Joker. Additionally, there were some posts about Nolan's Batman Begins, and this has really led to a lot of fan discussion about whether he said it or not, and more importantly, what it says about him leading the DCU. Now, since then, we've gotten a lot of updates on the story, and several sources seem to indicate that these posts were not even James Gunn. The team over at One Movie News actually sorted through James Gunn's account going back 11 to 12 years and trying to find the post. And guess what? Despite finding a lot of rather disturbing content from that era, they found nothing of the sorts when it came to these Batman opinions. Now, it's pretty clear to me there are some fan campaigns going on to undermine James Gunn. And at this point, it appears some stuff is simply, being made up. There are certain contingents of fans that just want to turn back the time machine, go back to the previous era, and continue with the DCEU. But quite honestly, guys, that's a dead horse. It's never happening. And Gunn is going to be here for a little while, and by the time he's done, it will be impossible to go in a reverse direction. Now, the big thing to take away from all of this is, it actually doesn't matter if Gunn posted this or not. Now, whether you agree with the takes, it honestly shouldn't matter either way. If Gunn doesn't like those movies, it really doesn't matter at all. Not liking the Burton version of The Dark Knight does not mean a filmmaker doesn't understand the character. Actually, based on all the comic book recommendations that James Gunn has given us, it's very apparent he has a very specific taste with the DC characters and knows exactly the direction he wants to go, and a lot of these really resonated with fans so far. To suggest that he is unfit to oversee the DCU because of these controversial opinions, whether they're true or not, to me seems pretty laughable. Gunn has had nothing but success in the superhero genre. The Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy was awesome, and probably one of Marvel Studios' best outings. All three movies connected with fans, and quite honestly, they're my favorite Marvel franchise. Now, I also quite like the Suicide Squad, but let's be clear, Peacemaker was utterly phenomenal. So when you look at James Gunn's track record, not what other people have to say, his take on various superhero characters has been nothing but positive, and I think he's going to do the same thing for the overall DCU. Now, it's not that we shouldn't be questioning some of his decisions. Obviously, there's some things that have bothered some fans. For me, the biggest one is removing Keaton from that planned Batman Beyond movie, which is something I've wanted for decades, but I do respect that he has a vision for the direction he's going. I also am not too sure about Andy Muschietti taking over The Brave and the Bold after The Flash, but we're going into a new era where Gunn's actually supervising those projects, and I think we should look to the future and not the past to see where this ultimately will land. Quite honestly, Batman might be the most important DC character. I know a lot of people point to Superman for this, but Batman resonates with so many fans, has had so much box office success in the past, and has such a high standard to live to. Well, quite honestly, I think he's the character that Gunn needs to hit out of the park, and I do believe he fully understands it. Grant Morrison's take on the character was pretty awesome, and Gunn seeming to gravitate to those comics makes me feel nothing but warm and fuzzy. So I'm really hopeful as the smoke clears on this particular story. Well, it forces Gunn to kind of give us a little better of an idea of where he's going with The Dark Knight. He did recently debunk some casting rumors of John Krasinski as Bruce Wayne, making it super clear once again, they don't do any casting until scripts are done. No scripts are being written because the writers are on strike, so there has been no casting news. I think we're actually probably going to have to wait until the strike is over before we get any new news on Gunn's Batman, but I think you can remain confident and assured that he does know what he's doing, he does know the direction he's going to take the character, and there is clearly finally a plan at the management level over at Warner Bros. Discovery to bring the DC universe to life. It's not that the previous takes didn't have a plan, but Warner Brothers management never saw it through, and quite honestly, I think their meddling probably broke a lot of great ideas. I think with James Gunn in charge, we're going to avoid that once again, and I think fans should remain hopeful. When we get our first peek at Gunn's version of The Dark Knight, well, we're going to have to wait and see.